15. The Courtesan Ambapali. Then the Gracious One, after living near Nardika for as long as he liked, addressed Venerable Ānanda, saying, "Come, Ānanda, let us approach Vaisali." "Very well, Reverend Sir," Venerable Ānanda replied to the Gracious One. Then the Gracious One, together with a great community of monks, entered Vaisali. There the Gracious One lived near Vaisali in Ambapali's wood. There the Gracious One addressed the monks, saying, "Mindfully and with full awareness, monks, a monk should live. This is our advice to you." "And how, monks, is a monk mindful?" "Here, monks, a monk dwells contemplating the nature of the body in the body, ardent, fully aware and mindful, after removing avarice and sorrow regarding the world. He dwells contemplating the nature of feelings in feelings, ardent, fully aware and mindful, after removing avarice and sorrow regarding the world. He dwells contemplating the nature of mind in the mind, ardent, fully aware and mindful, after removing avarice and sorrow regarding the world. He dwells contemplating the nature of things in various things, ardent, fully aware and mindful, after removing avarice and sorrow regarding the world. Thus, monks, a monk is mindful. And how, monks, does a monk have full awareness? Here, monks, a monk in going forwards, in going back, is one who practices with full awareness. In looking ahead or in looking around, he is one who practices with full awareness. In bending or in stretching, he is one who practices with full awareness. In bearing his double robe, bowl, and other robes, he is one who practices with full awareness. In eating, in drinking, in chewing, in tasting, he is one who practices with full awareness. In passing stool and urine, he is one who practices with full awareness. In going, in standing, in sitting, in sleeping, in waking, in talking, and in maintaining silence, he is one who practices with full awareness. Thus, monks, a monk has full awareness. Mindful and with full awareness, monks, a monk should live. This is our advice to you." The courtesan Ambapali heard, "The Gracious One, it seems, has reached Vaisali and is living near Vaisali in my mango grove." Then the courtesan Ambapali, after having many great and august vehicles prepared, and mounting those great and august vehicles, departed with those great and august vehicles from Vaisali, and after approaching by vehicle to her pleasure garden as far as the ground for vehicles would allow, and descending from the vehicles, she approached the Gracious One by foot. And after approaching and worshipping the Gracious One, she sat down on one side. While the courtesan Ambapali was sitting on one side, the Gracious One instructed, roused, enthused, and cheered her with a talk about the teaching. Then the courtesan Ambapali, having been instructed, roused, enthused, and cheered by the Gracious One with a talk about the teaching, said to the Gracious One, "May the Gracious One consent, Reverend Sir, to me offering him a meal on the morrow, together with a community of monks." The Gracious One consented by maintaining silence. Then the courtesan Ambapali, having understood the Gracious One's consent, after rising from her seat, worshipping and circumambulating the Gracious One, went away. The Lichavis from Vaisali heard, "The Gracious One, it seems, has reached Vaisali and is living near Vaisali in Ambapali's wood." Then those Lichavis, after having many great and august vehicles prepared, and mounting those great and august vehicles, departed with those great and august vehicles from Vaisali. There some of the Lichavis were blue, having a blue appearance, with blue clothes and blue decorations. Some of the Lichavis were yellow, having a yellow appearance, with yellow clothes and yellow decorations. Some of the Lichavis were red, having a red appearance, with red clothes and red decorations. Some of the Lichavis were white, having a white appearance, with white clothes and white decorations. Then the courtesan Ambapali rolled alongside the Lichavi youths, axle by axle, wheel by wheel, and yoke by yoke. Then those Lichavis said this to the courtesan Ambapali, Why do you, Ambapali, roll alongside the Lichavi youths, axle by axle, wheel by wheel, and yoke by yoke? Because I have invited the gracious one, noble sirs, for a meal on the morrow, together with the community of monks. Give us this meal, Ambapali, for 100,000 kahapanas. If, noble sirs, you would give me Vaisali and its revenues, still I would not give this meal to you. Then the Lichavis snapped their fingers, thinking, We have surely been defeated, dear sir, by a woman. We have surely been defeated, dear sir, by a woman. Then the Lichavis entered Ambapali's wood. The gracious one saw those Lichavis coming from afar, and having seen them, he addressed the monks, saying, Let those monks who have not seen the Tāvatimsa divinities, monks, look at the Lichavi troop, monks. Look upon the Lichavi troop, monks. Contemplate the Lichavi troop, monks. They are like the Tāvatimsa divinities. Then after the Lichavis had gone as far as the ground for vehicles would allow, and had descended from the vehicles, they approached the gracious one by foot. And after approaching and worshipping the gracious one, they sat down on one side. While the Lichavis were sitting on one side, the gracious one instructed, roused, enthused, and cheered them with a talk about the teaching. Then the Lichavis, having been instructed, roused, enthused, and cheered by the gracious one with a talk about the teaching, said to the gracious one, Please consent to us offering a meal on the morrow, together with the community of monks. I have already consented to the courtesan Ambapali's meal on the morrow. Then the Lichavis snapped their fingers, thinking, We have surely been defeated, dear sir, by a woman. We have surely been defeated, dear sir, by a woman. Then the Lichavis, after greatly rejoicing and gladly receiving this word of the gracious one, rising from their seats, worshipping and circumambulating the gracious one, went away. Then the courtesan Ambapali, after the night had passed, having had excellent foodstuffs made ready in her own pleasure park, had the time announced to the gracious one, saying, It is time, reverend sir, the meal is ready. Then the gracious one, having dressed in the morning time, after picking up his bowl and robe, together with the community of monks, approached the courtesan Ambapali's residence, and after approaching he sat down on the prepared seat. Then the courtesan Ambapali with her own hand served and satisfied the community of monks with the Buddha at its head, with excellent foodstuffs. Then the courtesan Ambapali, when the gracious one had eaten and washed his hand and bowl, having taken a certain low seat, sat down on one side. While sitting on one side, the courtesan Ambapali said this to the gracious one, I donate this pleasure park, reverend sir, to the community of monks with the Buddha at its head. The gracious one accepted the pleasure park. Then the gracious one, after instructing, rousing, enthusing, and cheering the courtesan Ambapali with a talk about the teaching, having risen from the seat, went away. There also the gracious one, while living in Vaisali in Ambapali's wood, spoke frequently to the monks about the teaching, saying, Such is virtue, such is concentration, such is wisdom. When virtue is well developed, it yields great fruit and brings great advantages in regard to concentration. When concentration is well developed, it yields great fruit and brings great advantages in regard to wisdom. When wisdom is well developed, the mind is completely liberated from the pollutants, that is to say, the pollutant of sensuality, the pollutant of craving for continued existence, the pollutant of ignorance.